The kitchen smelled like burnt toast and the old coffee. Morning light cut through the blinds in strips across the floor. The boy sat still at the table, legs swinging. His fingers were smudged with pencil. He didn't hum, didn't talk. He just waited. When Savannah turned from the sink, he slid the yellow paper toward her. She didn't look at him at first. She looked at the drawing. A black log cabin, slanted roof, ridge in the background, lopsided like a broken tooth. A dark circle near the bottom corner. Could have been a door. Could have been something else. Savannah's hand went to her chest, then to the counter, then to the coffee pot. "You draw this?" Royce didn't move. "No." She stared at the lines again. Heavy and sure. A child's hand, but something too solid about it, too certain. The ridge especially. He got the curve right. Downward slope, jagged break to the left, rise again, just like it looked from the old road, just like it looked when she was a girl. The coffee pot slipped, glass shattered across the floor, boiling liquid rushed under the fridge toward her boots. "Where'd you see this?" Royce's voice was soft. "I see it in my head." She bent down slowly, grabbing the dish rag, not looking at him. Her hands shook, the rag soaked through quickly and hot. "You been out there?" "No." "You passed the fence." He blinked. "I don't know where it is." Savannah stood up, holding the dripping rag. Her mouth opened, then closed. She turned the paper over. Blank on the back. No name. No date. "Do you draw anything else?" He pointed to the drawer. She pulled it open. Pencils, paper scraps, a bent plastic fork. No other drawings. "Where's the rest of it?" "That's all." She looked at him. Really looked. Same pale eyes, same slow way of blinking when scared. She hadn't seen that look since her daddy walked into the barn with a shotgun and didn't come back out. "You talk to anybody?" He shook his head. "Anybody tell you about this place?" "No." Savannah sat down across from him. The chair creaked. "That cabin. Have you ever heard that word before?" "What word?" "Cabin." He shrugged. "It's just what it is." She reached across the table. Her hand hovered near his. "You dream of it?" He nodded. "Every night." He paused. "No, just when it rains." The rag dripped onto the floor between them. Savannah stood up fast and snatched the drawing. "Get your boots." Royce hesitated. "Now." She grabbed the truck keys from the hook, stuffed the drawing in the glove box, slammed it shut. The slam echoed through the small kitchen like a slap. Royce climbed down from the chair, grabbing his jacket. On the porch, the dog didn't bark, just watched them from the corner with tired eyes. Savannah didn't look at it. She walked straight to the truck, keys tight in her grip. Royce climbed in and shut the door softly. The seatbelt clicked. The old engine coughed before it turned over. "Where are we going?" She didn't answer. The gravel cracked under the tires as they rolled out of the yard, past the silo, past the empty pen. Down the hill toward Ma Ellen's, Royce leaned his head against the window. Trees blurred by. Some are still green, some not. The radio stayed off. At the bottom of the hill, the house came into view. Same as it ever was. Wood graying, porch sagging, curtains drawn. A figure moved behind the screen door. Savannah pulled up hard. Brakes squealed. "Stay in the truck!" Royce stayed. Ma Ellen opened the door before Savannah knocked. Eyes sharp. Apron is dirty. "Have you seen it?" Savannah asked. Ma Ellen didn't blink. He drew it. A pause. Wind rustled the trees. Somewhere behind the house, a rooster screamed. Ma Ellen stepped aside. Savannah entered. The door creaked shut. Royce stayed in the truck. He stared at the glove box. Inside the house, the two women stood in silence. "You sure it's the same one?" Ma Ellen asked. "He got the ridge right." "And the window?" "Bottom right corner. Just one." "Barely there." Ma Ellen nodded slowly. It started again. Savannah looked down. "He's just a boy." "They always are." Savannah wiped her face. "He said he saw it in his head. Said it comes when it rains." Ma Ellen's hand tightened around the arm of a chair. "You still ain't told him." Savannah shook her head. "He doesn't know about John. He doesn't know about the fire, about what y'all buried out there." "Then you best keep it that way." Savannah moved to the window. I looked out at the truck. "He's 9. The same age your daddy was when he saw it." Savannah closed her eyes. "I told him not to go past the dogwoods." Ma Ellen nodded. "He'll go anyway." They stood quiet for a long time. Finally, Savannah turned. "I won't let it start again." Ma Ellen didn't say anything. Savannah walked out, back into the sunlight. Royce looked at her as she climbed into the truck. "Are we going home?" She stared straight ahead. "Don't go past the dogwoods." He nodded. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Not ever." Savannah shoved the drawing deep into the glove box, slammed it shut, and turned the key in the ignition. The truck sputtered, then caught. Royce didn't ask where they were going. She didn't tell him. Gravel kicked under the tires as they rolled out from the drive, the barn vanishing behind them. The ridge loomed ahead just past the tree line, slumped and silent. "Put your belt on." He clicked it in, kept his eyes on the trees. "You see that ridge again, you look away. You hear anything, you don't listen. You don't go near it. You hear me? I hear you. You don't go past the dogwoods. Not ever." His head tilted just a little, watching the woods blur by. "What's past him?" "Nothing you need." He didn't speak again, just pressed his hand flat to the window like he was feeling for something. Savannah kept her eyes on the road. Her grip on the wheel tightened. She drove faster than usual, didn't look at him, didn't look at the ridge. They hit the dirt road that curled behind the old mill, then cut straight through to Ma Ellen's. The house came into view, paint peeled off in layers, porch screen flapping loose, rocking chair still with its back broken. The place hadn't changed since the year Savannah left home with blood on her boots. She parked hard, left the truck running. "You stay here." Royce didn't argue. Savannah stepped onto the porch. The door creaked open before she touched it. "You feel it?" Ma Ellen asked. "I saw it," Savannah said. He drew it, the cabin, ridge and all. Ma Ellen's jaw tightened. She opened the door wider. Savannah stepped inside. The smell of old wood, salt pork, and mothballs hit like a wall. The floor creaked beneath her boots. Nothing moved inside the house except the slow ticking of a clock that hadn't chimed since her daddy's funeral. "He's never been there," Savannah said. "Never seen it, but he drew it the same as me. Same as Daddy did." Ma Ellen's hands moved slowly, folding a dish towel that didn't need folding. It started again. Savannah looked toward the hallway, toward the room with the locked chest that hadn't been opened in 30 years. "You still got it?" "No need to. I just want to see it." "It's the same." Ma Ellen's voice cracked. "Same window, same roofline, same rot." Savannah didn't sit. "Why's it him?" "They come for who they can reach. You opened the door." "I didn't tell him anything." "You don't have to. Blood calls blood." Savannah swallowed hard. "You still ain't gonna say the name?" "Are you?" Ma Ellen shook her head. "Some names wake things up. He's just a boy." "He was too." Silence held for a beat too long. The clock ticked. Somewhere in the kitchen, a fly buzzed against the window pane. Savannah's throat tightened. "You still keeping that fire quiet?" Ma Ellen asked. "I never told him what happened. About John. About Daddy. About the well." "Maybe you should. He's 9. Then he's ready." Savannah turned away from the window. Her hands were fists. "You think I don't want to protect him?" "I think you better decide if silence is safe or just fear dressed nicely." Savannah stepped toward the door. "Tell him the truth," Ma Ellen said, "before something else does." She walked out. The sun hit hard. The truck was still idling. Royce looked up when she opened the door. "You talked to Ma." "Yeah. What did she say?" "She said you drew it real close to right." He blinked. "You never see it again. In your dreams. In the window. Anywhere. You come straight to me. Understand?" He nodded. "You don't go past the dogwoods. Not ever." His eyes flicked toward the tree line. "I think I heard it." She stopped. "Heard what?" He looked back at her, unsure. "Something. From the paper." Savannah opened the glove box and pulled out the drawing. She looked at it hard. The roof, the ridge, the tiny crooked window. She ripped it once, then again, shoved the pieces into her coat pocket. "Gone now." Royce stared at her hand. "It doesn't work like that." She turned the engine off. The ticking cooled in the silence. "We're burning it. Tonight." He didn't argue. They drove back home quietly. The dog barked once from under the porch and went quiet. The sun was starting to dip, orange across the barn roof. Shadows stretched longer than they should have. That night, Savannah lit a fire behind the shed, tossed in the pieces. Paper curled and blackened. Royce stood beside her, hands in his jacket. "You think that'll stop it?" "No." Then why do it? To show it I'm still here. They stood in silence, watching it burn. Can I draw again? You draw anything else like that? You tell me first. He nodded. Promise? I promise. Say it. I promise, Mama. The fire popped. Sparks rose toward the sky. She didn't look at the ridge, and neither did he. But both of them felt it, waiting. Sheriff Gant sat in his truck, window halfway down, one boot up on the dash. The funeral was small, just family and dirt. 3 rows of folding chairs and a preacher with a cracked voice. Wind kept catching the corners of the tent, lifting them like a skirt. Gant didn't go under. He hadn't gone under a funeral tent in 15 years. The radio hummed static behind the sermon. Gant didn't move. A knock on the passenger glass. Deputy Clive leaned in with a manila envelope. I haven't spoken yet. Just hold it. Gant took it slow. Slide the paper out. One look. That was all. Where'd it come from? Savannah's boy. Gant's mouth twitched. Didn't turn into anything. He was out there. Doesn't sound like it. Then how the hell'd he draw it? Clive shrugged. Says he dreamed it. Gant didn't answer. He set the drawing on the dash. The ink was fresh. The lines matched. That same slant in the roof. That same broken ridge behind it. Whoever drew it had seen it. Not guessed. Seen it. You want to talk to her? No. You think it's startin' again? Gant opened the door. The hinge groaned. It never stopped. He stepped out, boots crunching dry dirt, walked past the line of mourners, past the preacher. No one stopped him. They just watched. He walked right up to the casket. The lid wasn't open, didn't need to be. He pulled the drawing from his coat pocket and dropped it flat on the pine box. It fluttered once before settling. Should have burned it all when we had the chance. He turned back, slow. His eyes swept the trees past the graveyard, toward the line where the ridge cut up through the horizon like an old scar. He stood there a moment longer, then walked back to the truck. Clive didn't speak. They drove off quietly. Half a mile down the road, Gant lit a cigarette. You remember the last time it showed up? Yeah. Do you believe in it? I believe in what it does. Clive looked over. Have you ever seen it? Gant stared straight ahead. Enough. They pulled up to the station. The front steps creaked under their weight. Inside, the air was stale with paper and old wood. The phone blinked, but Gant ignored it. He went into his office and shut the door. He pulled the top drawer open, took out a rusted tin box. Inside, an old matchbook, a spent bullet, a girl's ribbon stained dark, and a folded photograph. He unfolded the picture. 3 people, a man, a woman, and a boy standing in front of the cabin, all smiling. He stared at the boy. 8, maybe 9. Same eyes as Royce. Gant muttered, too damn young. He set the photo down and rubbed his face. The mirror across the room showed a face he didn't like. Deep cracks under the eyes. Mouth pulled low. He used to smile, but it looked wrong now. Clive knocked once. Yeah. He opened the door halfway. You want me to call Ma Ellen? No. She's gonna hear anyway. I'll go to her. Clive paused. You sure? I said I'll go. The door closed again. Gant looked at the photo one last time. I folded it, put it back. Later that afternoon, he drove out alone, past the fields, past the silo with the bullet holes. He took the back road, no one paved. Dust curled behind the wheels. Ma Ellen's house sat quiet at the end of it, screen door swinging soft in the wind. She was already on the porch, sitting, like she'd been waiting. Gant stepped out, hat in hand. Ellen. Sheriff. You hear? I always hear. He sat on the steps, not beside her. Just near enough. It's the boy, he said. I figured. He drew it. Does he see it? Just in his head. Said it came in dreams. Like Savannah. Like John. Ma Ellen leaned forward, lit a match, cigarette to lips. One drag. You think it's him? No. You think it's still out there? I think it never left. She took another drag. Savannah knows what's coming. She doesn't want to. She never did. They sat in silence. The trees creaked. A crow barked from somewhere up high. You think he's strong enough? Gant asked. He's a boy. That ain't an answer. Ma Ellen flicked ash into the dirt. None of us were strong enough. That's why it keeps coming back. Gant stood. If it gets worse, I'll come back. You won't help anyone. I'll try anyway. He walked off. The wind picked up behind him. He got in the truck, stared through the windshield. The sky above the ridge was darker now, like something shifting under the clouds. The radio cracked as he turned the key. He didn't smile. He hadn't in years. The house creaked differently at night. The boards under the kitchen hummed low, like something below still remembered being stepped on. The windows stayed shut, but the curtains moved just enough to make you check them twice. Savannah cleaned dishes with her back to the room. Royce sat at the table, the torn pieces of the drawing spread out in front of him like a puzzle nobody asked him to solve. He hadn't said a word in 20 minutes. She dried the last plate, then paused. His head was tilted. "You want hot milk?" He shook his head. "Are you still scared?" "No." "Are you lying?" He shrugged. "A little." She walked over slowly, wiped her hands on the towel, and sat across from him. He didn't look up. "Can I ask something?" "You can." "Was Daddy the one who built it?" She blinked. "Built what?" "The cabin." Her mouth tightened. "Who told you that?" "No one." "You sure?" "I just knew." Her throat moved before she spoke. "Why do you think he built it?" "It's not in the dream, but when I look at it, I feel like it's his." Savannah looked at the paper scraps. One still had the slant of the roof. Another, the black square, that could have been a window. "Your daddy didn't build that cabin." Royce looked up. "Does he ever go inside it?" She hesitated. "Yeah." "Did you?" "Once." "Was it bad?" "Yes." He nodded like that made sense. "Have you ever thought about him?" She asked. "Sometimes." "What do you think?" "I think he was quiet, like me." Savannah looked down. "He wasn't." "Then what was he?" She waited a long time. "His name was John Trofiller." Royce blinked slowly. "You never said that before." "I know." She leaned back in the chair. "You were a baby when he died, right before winter. You never met him." Royce didn't flinch. "How'd he die?" She looked away. "Ridge took him." He didn't speak. "You mean the trees?" "No, I mean the ridge." They sat in silence. The clock ticked soft from the other room. A pipe thumped in the wall. Was he bad? Savannah's hand twitched. "He wasn't good." "Did he hurt you?" Her eyes shifted. She didn't answer. "Did he hurt other people?" She nodded. "Yeah." "Was he from here?" "He was from nowhere." "Then why'd you stay?" She looked at him hard. "Because I had you." He leaned back in the chair, staring at the pieces again. "Did people like him?" "Some did." "Did Ma Ellen?" "No." "Did the sheriff?" Savannah swallowed. "The sheriff didn't stop him." "That's not the same." Royce pressed the pieces tighter together, trying to realign the corners. His voice dropped low. "I think he's still in it." Savannah stood fast. "Stop!" He looked up. "I didn't mean—" "You didn't know what you meant. Don't talk like that." She walked to the sink, gripped the edge. Her reflection in the window didn't look like her, just something tired, fading. "I didn't ask to be his," Royce said. "You're not." "I came from him." "No, you didn't. You came through him. There's a difference." He stayed quiet. "You're mine," she said. "You came from me, from fire and blood and grit, and you're not him." He watched her hands tremble on the counter. "I didn't mean to make you mad." "I'm not mad." "Then what are you?" She took a breath. "Worn." Royce stood slowly, walked to the sink, and stood beside her. "Does Ma Ellen hate him?" "She never says." "Do you?" "I hate what he did." Royce looked down. "Do you miss him?" "No." He turned back toward the table, but didn't sit. "I keep dreaming of him anyway." "You don't know what he looked like." "I do now." Savannah turned. "Royce, I don't think he wants to hurt me." "He does." Royce didn't argue. He talked softly, but the words are wrong. Savannah walked back, knelt in front of him, took his face in both hands. "If he shows up again, you tell me. You don't talk to him. You don't listen." Royce nodded. "You don't need him in your head. You don't need to carry that." "Then who does?" "I do." They stayed like that for a moment. Quiet. Finally, she stood. "Come on, bed." "I won't sleep." "You will." "You won't." She half smiled. "That's my job." They turned off the lights. The house held its breath. As Royce climbed into bed, Savannah sat on the edge. You can ask me anything, she said, from now on. Even about the cabin? Especially that. He pulled the blanket to his chest. I think I heard it well. Savannah's face went still. It said my name. She didn't speak, just reached out and touched his hair, soft and steady. You're not going back there. I know. You're not him. I know. She leaned close. You're better. He believed her. That was the part that hurt. The air turned differently past the dogwoods. Quieter, heavy like rain that hadn't come yet. Savannah stepped through the brush, boots damp with morning dew. Machete in hand, more out of memory than fear. The trail had vanished long ago, swallowed by thorns and time, but her feet still knew where it went. Every few yards, a shape of the past showed itself. Half a fence post, a bottle stuck in a tree, a rusted can with no label. The ridge rose in front of her, still crooked and watching. Her breath stayed low, not nervous, just steady. She didn't stop until she saw it. The cabin looked exactly like it did in her mind. Same tilt in the roof, same sun-split wood. The walls leaned like they were tired of standing. The front steps were rotted through, one plank hanging by a nail. No birds, no bugs, just the soft creak of the wind trying the door. She stepped up slowly. The porch boards gave a little. The door opened without her touching it. Inside smelled of ash, damp rope, and mold. The burn marks were still there, black streaks along the ceiling beam, the wall where the fire took hold but didn't finish. A rope still hung in the corner, tied to a bent hook in the rafters. She didn't look at it long, just enough to know it hadn't moved. She stepped into the center of the room, where the floor slanted slightly. Her boot tapped the plank she remembered, third row from the wall. Knotted on one end, warped in the middle. Her hands didn't hesitate. She knelt, slid her fingers beneath it, and pulled. The board groaned like it hurt. Underneath, stone, rough gray in a circle, moss in the cracks, cold air coming up from the dark. Savannah stared into it. Still here. Her voice echoed faintly, like it went too far down. She leaned forward just enough to see the drop. No water, just shadow. She whispered. He said he heard him whispering from it. Silence answered, thick, waiting, then soft. A rustle, a gasp. Maybe not breathing, maybe not voice. She flinched back fast. Nothing followed. Her heart thumped loud in her ears. She stayed crouched, eyes on the well, not blinking. It came again, fainter, almost human, almost not. She stood fast, slammed the board back down, kicked it once to lock it in place. The room shifted, like something old stirred beneath it. She backed toward the door, didn't turn her back. Not today, she muttered. Not again. The rope in the corner swayed gently. No breeze. She stepped out. The sun hit hard, made her squint. She didn't look back, just walked, fast, through the brush, down the ridge, past the trees that bent toward her. By the time she reached the dogwoods, she was running. Home wasn't far. But her chest ached like she'd run for miles. When she reached the yard, Royce was sitting on the porch steps, drawing again, head low, pencil scratched slowly. She stopped at the edge of the drive, breathing hard. He looked up, saw her. You okay? She didn't answer. You went, didn't you? She walked past him into the house, wash her hands 3 times. The smell of the rope wouldn't leave. Royce followed. Did you find it? She turned. You drew it again. He held up the page. Same cabin. This time the roof was darker. They are well visible now. A small circle, open, like an eye. You didn't know it was there, she said. I saw it last night. In a dream. No. Her voice dropped. Then where? He didn't blink. On the floor. You've never been there. He didn't speak. Savannah grabbed the drawing, tore it, burned it in the sink. I watched it turn black and curl. Royce stood silent, watching the flame. He's still down there, isn't he? He asked. She didn't turn. You put him there? No. Then who did? She turned finally. He fell. Royce narrowed his eyes. Did you watch? I didn't stop him. He looked toward the window, toward the ridge. He wants out. I know. What happens if he gets out? He starts again. Royce's hands balled up. What if I let him? You won't. What if I already did? Her voice sharpened. Don't say that. I didn't mean to. I don't care. She crossed the room, grabbed his face in both hands. You don't go near that ridge. You don't draw. You don't listen. You keep your mind closed. Shut tight. Understand? He nodded, stiff. Her voice cracked. Promise me. I promise. She let go. He looked down. He said my name. No, he didn't. I heard it. It wasn't him. I think he's cold. Good. That hung between them. Too long. She sat at the table, hands in her lap, eyes heavy. Royce pulled a blanket from the couch, draped it around her shoulders. Quiet. Did you see the rope? Yeah. Still there? Yeah. He sat across from her. You think it remembers? I think everything out there remembers. He nodded like he'd already figured that part out. They stayed that way a while. Nothing moved. Not the trees. Not the clock. Finally, Royce spoke again. You ever gonna tell me what he did? She looked at him full. I will. When? When you're strong enough. He tilted his head. And if I never am. She leaned forward. Then I'll carry it. He didn't argue, just sat with her. In the still. In the silence. In the weight of things that wouldn't stay buried. The sheriff's office sat hot and quiet. One fly buzzed at the window, tapping glass like it wanted out, but didn't care enough to try hard. Gant was at his desk, boots up, thumb pressed to his temple like it could stop the headache before it bloomed. When the front door swung open, he didn't flinch, just looked up slowly, like he'd been expecting her since '93. Savannah didn't knock. You drinking today? She asked. Not yet. She stepped in hard. Dust lifted around her boots. My son saw it, the cabin, and I didn't tell him. So what is it? Gant stood slow, reached under the desk, brought out a bottle and 2 glasses. He poured both, pushed one toward her. Didn't touch him. I didn't come for a goddamn toast. It's not toast. She stared at the glass. Then I took it. Didn't sit. Gant leaned against the desk. Your daddy filled troughs for 30 years. Didn't ask for more. Didn't raise his voice, just did the work, kept to himself. I know who my daddy was. You know pieces, the parts your mama let stay. Savannah's jaw tightened. Then one day, Gant said, he stopped, drove out to the edge of the ridge. I wouldn't say why, just stood there. Said the land was talking. Said the cabin had things in it from before white men, before roads. Said it called him. And y'all believe that? No. Then what did you do? We followed him. Savannah's eyes narrowed. You followed him and what? We watched. He'd stand out there in the dark, not moving. Some nights he'd be crying, some nights laughing. Then one morning he came into town with blood on his boots and said he saw God blink from under the floor. She stared at him. You're lying. I wish I was. She stepped closer. You knew something was wrong, and you did nothing. I was 24, deputy back then. The sheriff wouldn't touch it, said your daddy was just tired, so I kept watch. Then your husband showed up. Savannah blinked. You don't say his name either. Gant's voice dropped. John Filler came out of nowhere. Walk into your life like he owned it. The cabin changed after that. Got quiet. Still, we thought it was over. It wasn't. No. Savannah picked up the glass, held it, didn't drink. He moved us in without asking, she said. Said it was ours, but the walls never felt like mine. Did he ever take you to the well? Her hand twitched. You knew about the well? I helped him cover it. She dropped the glass. It shattered on the floor. You covered it. You saw what was down there, and you still let him live with me. I thought it was sealed. Savannah shook her head. You didn't seal a damn thing. Gant didn't argue. He changed in that place, every day, colder, like he was waiting on something. And then one night, he looked at me like he didn't know me. Like I was a stranger in his house. Said I was borrowed. I know. You know. He came to me the next day. Told me that I spoke well. Said it wanted him to teach. To cleanse. She stepped back. And you let me stay. I tried to stop you. No, you didn't. I tried to get the council to shut it down. They laughed me out. Said if the trough filler boy wanted to fix up the old land, let him. Savannah's eyes burned. Then you burned it. Gant nodded. We waited till he was gone. 4 of us. Middle of the night. Gasoline and matches. The whole damn place lit like a torch. She swallowed. But it didn't take. No. The wood went black. But it didn't fall. Flames hissed like they hit water, and under it all, we heard screaming, not from above, from under. Savannah sat slow. You left him alive. He came back 2 days later, barefoot, said nothing, just stood at the edge of town watching me. She looked up at him. What happened after? I told him to leave. He just smiled. Savannah shook her head. He never smiled. He did then. Then he came home and said nothing. Sat in the dark for hours. When he stood up, I followed him out back. I asked him what he wanted. And he said, you. Gant's face didn't change. That was the night, she said. I pushed him. He fell through the floor. Gant met her eyes. And you left him there. I didn't dig the well. I didn't ask him to take it. He nodded once. You did what we couldn't. She stood. He's not gone. I know. Royce hears him. Gant's voice dropped low. Then we don't have much time. She stared hard. What do we do? Gant picked up the second glass, still full. We finished it. Savannah looked down at the broken shards near her feet. Better be sure this time. Gant nodded once. We burn what's left. She turned, walked out slowly. Behind her, the fly kept tapping glass. Steady, unbothered. Ma Ellen's porch light was still out when Savannah pulled up. The sun wasn't all the way down yet, but the house already felt like it knew darkness better than light. She stepped out of the truck, shut the door softly. Her hand still smelled like smoke. The ridge, somehow, is closer now than it had been that morning. Inside, the hallway light glowed dim. Ma Ellen sat at the kitchen table with a box in front of her. Cardboard, old, water-stained along the edges. She didn't look up when Savannah walked in. You ready? Ma Ellen asked. No. You come anyway. Savannah stood on the other side of the table. She didn't sit. I went to Gant, she said. I figured. He knew. Of course he did. He didn't stop it. Didn't have the guts. Savannah's voice dropped. You packing up? Ma Ellen opened the box lid. Just pulling what's owed. What is that? History. I already know the story. No. You know the lie we let sit long enough to rot. Savannah stared at the box. You sure you want to open that? I'm here. Ain't I? Ma Ellen slid the box forward. Inside, a folded photo, a ribbon of pale hair, a rusted, blood-stained badge. Savannah froze. Is that his? Ma Ellen nodded. Your daddy's. The badge, too. No, that belonged to the man he beat half to death. Savannah picked up the ribbon. This was mine. No. She looked up. Ma Ellen's voice cracked. That was hers. Savannah blinked. She looked just like you, Ma Ellen said. Hair like fire in the right light. Same laugh. Same stubborn jaw. Who? Your sister. Savannah sat down. You had a daughter before me. I didn't have her. She was born to your daddy's first girl. Town girl. Quiet. He met her during deliveries. Said he loved her. Then she got pregnant. The sheriff threatened to lock him up. That's when the whispers started. Savannah touched the photo. It showed 2 girls. One a little older, one holding a stick like a rifle, both barefoot, dirt on their knees. Where's this taken? Behind the cabin. She held the badge now, the rust rubbed onto her fingers. Why keep this? Proof. Savannah didn't ask what. She already knew. Ma Ellen lit a cigarette. Her hands trembled just a little. He put her in that house to hide her. Said the ridge would keep her safe. That's where she grew up. Never went to school, never left the land. Savannah stared at the photo again. She died. She vanished. Your daddy blamed the sheriff. The sheriff blamed the ridge. Nobody said the name John Trofiller, but we all knew. Savannah closed her eyes. You want the truth? I need it. You didn't love John. Savannah opened her eyes. You didn't choose him. He chose you. And we let it happen. What are you saying? Ma Ellen leaned forward. John was your blood. Same father, different mother, raised in that cabin, raised like a secret. When you turned 16, your daddy sent you out there with food, just for a night, just to help. Savannah's breath caught. You came back quiet, wouldn't talk, wouldn't eat. Then you told us you were carrying, and I said nothing. I let you lie about it. Let's say he was a man from the next town. I let it slide. You let me carry his child. I let you survive. Savannah stood. You watched me raise him. You watched that man come into my home. You watched him touch me. Ma Ellen's eyes welled. I couldn't stop him. Your daddy tried. That's why he died. Savannah took a step back. He killed him. Sheriff said it was an accident. Said the land swallowed him. But it was John. Yes. Savannah turned, faced the sink. Her hands shook against the counter. I thought he was just cruel. I didn't know he was born for it. He was born wrong. Savannah looked over her shoulder. Why tell me now? Because your son sees him, and that means the well ain't done. He's on the floor. He's under the stone. Savannah turned back to the box. Have you ever gone out there? Once. After the fire, I thought I'd feel better if I saw it black, but the place just looked alive. Savannah touched the ribbon one more time. Why keep it? To remember what we lost. You don't even say her name. Ma Ellen exhaled smoke. It's gone now. Savannah stared at the badge. Gant said the sheriff wouldn't stop him. He couldn't. Savannah met her eyes. But I did. Ma Ellen nodded. You did. Then why is he still talking? Ma Ellen's voice dropped. Because you didn't bury him right. Savannah closed the box. Tight. I'm done with ghosts. They ain't done with you. Savannah stood. Her voice was flat. Royce ain't his. No. He's mine. Yes. She turned to leave. Ma Ellen called out, You gonna tell him? Savannah paused at the door. I don't think he needs the truth. You sure? No. She walked out into the dark. The porch groaned beneath her steps. The ridge was a black shape against the sky. She didn't look up, didn't look back. She just got in the truck and drove. The box stayed on the table. The house swallowed the quiet like it always had. But somewhere deep in the trees, something old started moving again. The woods didn't make a sound. Not a bird, not a squirrel. Even the wind held back. Savannah walked slowly, machete strapped to her side, other hand holding Royce's. His fingers were cold. He didn't say much, just followed where she led. Eyes steady, chin tight, like his mind had already gone somewhere else. She knew that look. She'd worn it once herself, at a younger age than he was now. They crossed the creek bed dry, over the rise where the trees turned gray from rot and time. The dogwoods came into view like pale ghosts. Past them, nothing moved. No animals, no bugs. Just the ridge slouched behind the trees and that crooked roof barely peeking above the underbrush. Royce stopped. It's smaller than I thought. Savannah squeezed his hand. Do you remember it differently? Yeah. Dreams always make things taller. They stepped into the clearing. The cabin stood where it always had, half sunk and mean-looking. But it was quieter this time, not calm, just waiting. Savannah led them up the front steps. The porch groaned, boards soft with age. You don't have to come inside, she said. I do. She opened the door. The air inside was still and thick, like it hadn't moved in decades. The same smell hit them both, ash, rope, and rot. The air pushed against her chest, like it didn't want her there. She pushed back harder. Royce stepped in behind her, his eyes locked on the far corner. The rope was gone. Just a hook now. Empty. She moved to the center of the room, knelt, her hand brushed across the boards. Still the same, she said. You sure? I'd know if it wasn't. She found the warped plank. I pulled it up slowly. It stuck at first, then gave. Beneath it, the well waited. Royce stepped beside her. I looked down. Is that where he is? Part of him. He stared into the dark. Nothing but shadow, but his eyes widened. I hear it. Don't listen. It's not loud. That's worse. He knelt beside her, leaning closer. It's like it's breathing. I know. He didn't blink. He's calling me. Savannah grabbed his shirt. You don't go near it. I'm not. You don't want to. His voice dropped. But I do. She turned him to face her. You look at me. You are not what he was. He met her eyes. I don't feel like myself. That's how it starts. I feel like I have a shadow inside me. You do. But it's not yours. He pointed to the well. Then whose is it? Hi. Royce's jaw clenched. He's not all the way gone. No. Why not? Because we didn't bury him. We just covered the hole. The sound came again, from below. A dry breath. Like leaves scraping bone. Royce flinched. He's saying my name. Savannah stood. He says a lot of things. Don't make 'em true. I think he wants to show me. She stepped between him and the well. He showed me. I barely made it back. Royce's eyes didn't leave the hole. Did he say he loved you? No. Did he say you were his? Savannah's face went hard. He said I was owed. Royce stood now, slowly. What happens if I go in? You don't. But if I did, you wouldn't come back out. He stepped to the side. You think I'm him? No. I think you do. She stepped forward, grabbed his shoulders. I think you're scared. And that's good. That's what keeps you human. His eyes shimmered, jaw tight. I don't want him inside me. He ain't inside you. He's under you. But I feel it. She nodded. I feel it too. They stood over the well. Quiet. Something shifted in the dark, but didn't speak. Royce looked up at the ceiling, at the rafters. Where's the rope? Gone. You take it down. No. He glanced toward the door. Feels like we're being watched. We are. By who? By what's left of him. Royce stepped back. I don't want to come back here. You won't. You promise? I swear it. He looked down one more time, then turned away. Close it. Savannah dropped the board into place. It slammed louder than it should have. The air shifted. Royce moved to the door fast. She followed. As they stepped outside, the wind kicked up. First breeze all day. It smelled like wood smoke and wet iron. They crossed the clearing. I used to think I came from something bad, Royce said. You didn't. I thought maybe it was stuck in me. It's not. Then why do I dream what he dreamed? She kept walking. Because you're close to it. Same blood, same name, but you're not the same man. Sometimes I feel like I could be. Then fight it. He looked up at her. What if I can't? She stopped. Then I'll fight it for you. He didn't speak for a long time, just walked beside her, hand brushing hers. You ever think he was trying to leave it behind? Savannah's eyes stayed on the trees ahead. No, he was trying to pass it on. Royce's face went pale. To me. To anyone who'd listen. They walked in silence past the dogwoods. The sun was low now, bleeding through the limbs. Back at the truck, Royce climbed in, closed the door softly. Savannah stood outside a moment longer, eyes on the ridge. From this angle, the cabin wasn't visible, but she knew it was watching. She got in. Turned the key. The engine coughed, then caught. As they pulled away, Royce looked out of the window. I don't want to be afraid forever. You won't. I want to burn it down. We will. Soon. Soon. The truck rolled down the trail, the woods closing behind them. Behind the trees, in the dirt and ash, something shifted under the boards. But the boy didn't hear it this time. He was already looking forward. The gas can sloshed heavy as Savannah stepped out of the truck. The wind was low, the kind of still that wasn't peaceful, just waiting. Royce shut the door soft behind him. He didn't ask where they were. I didn't need to. The trees around them remembered the way. So did their feet. She carried the can in one hand. The other swung loose. Royce stayed a step behind. The path wasn't cleared, but it opened easily. Vines pulled back. Thorns didn't catch. You think it knows we're coming? He asked. Doesn't matter. I think it does. Savannah didn't answer. The ridge cut into view between two dead pines. The cabin sat just beneath it, low and hunched like a jawbone buried in dirt. Smoke still clung faint from the last time they stood here. Or maybe it was just the memory of it. They crossed the clearing slowly. You feel that? He asked. Yeah. It doesn't want us here. It never did. The porch cracked under their boots. She set the can down, pulled the matchbook from her coat pocket. I checked it. 3 left. Royce looked at the door. Locked? No. She pushed it open. The air inside hit like old sweat and rotten water. She didn't flinch, just stepped through. Royce stayed behind her. Eyes locked on the floor. You still see it? She asked. Yeah. Same as before. No. Worse. She didn't ask what he meant. She moved through the room slowly, pouring kerosene in wide, hard strokes across the beams, under the windows, along the seams where the floor met the wall. Royce watched her. You sure it'll catch? If it doesn't, I'll stay here and make sure it does. You mean it? Every word. The last pour she saved for the center. She knelt, pulled up the warped floorboard with the heel of her boot. The well waited underneath. Royce stepped closer. You hear it? No, I do. Savannah stared at the dark. You listening? No. Are you tempted? Little. She looked at him hard. Don't be. I'm not. He crouched beside her. Is that where he's buried? He ain't buried. Then where's he at? Savannah's voice stayed low. Right under our feet, wrapped around the stone. Royce leaned in. You think he knows? Know what? That we're done with him. Yeah. He's mad? Let him be. She dumped the last of the gas down the hole. The splash echoed deep. Royce stepped back. Savannah put the board back in place. Didn't nail it down. It didn't matter anymore. She stood, took a breath. You ready? Royce nodded. She lit the match. It flared yellow, small, angry. She touched it to the sill, then the floor, then the rope of gas she'd dragged across the threshold. It caught on fast. Fire ran up the wall like it knew the way. Royce stepped back into the doorway. She followed. They watched it burn. First came the crack of dry wood splitting. Then the low groan as heat found old nails. The smoke thickened quickly, not white, but gray, heavy. It crawled out of the windows like hands. The flames moved in rows, peeling paint from the inside out. The hook in the ceiling shrieked once, then dropped. Royce didn't flinch. What if this doesn't work? He asked. It'll work. You sure? No. They watched the roof cave. A long plank fell in slow motion. Sparks popped around it like warning shots. Royce squinted into the smoke. I see something. Savannah didn't look. You don't need to. It's not him. I don't care. It's big. Don't name it. He stared anyway. It's looking at me. It can't have you. It wants to. Savannah didn't blink. It's too late. He turned to her. Do you ever think it was just us? That we made it into more than it was? No. Why not? Because I remember what it did. He nodded once. So do I. The flames climbed high now. The sky above the ridge turned orange. The trees didn't move. The ground didn't shake. But the air thickened like it had weight. Royce stepped back. I feel better already. You should. Does it feel this way for you? No. Why not? I've known it longer. The front wall groaned, fell in. The floor inside cracked, then buckled. A roar came up from the ground, not loud, but deep, like breath from a place with no lungs. Royce covered his ears. What is that? Just noise. It ain't just noise. She reached out, pulled him back from the steps. Don't listen. I'm trying not to. Try harder. They stood in the dirt. The fire reached higher now. Roof beams curled. Nails screamed. A beam fell and shattered the window frame. Royce pointed. It's rising. Don't look. I already did. Then forget it. He turned to her. I don't think I can. You have to. I see his face. No, you don't. I do. She grabbed his shoulders. You don't see him. You see the shape he left. He didn't pull away. You think it's in me? No. You sure? Yes. His voice dropped. Then why do I feel so close to it? Savannah looked at the fire. Because you came from it. But you don't owe it. You think I'm better? I know you are. He didn't argue. The fire reached the ridge line behind them, caught brush, but it didn't spread. Just glowed. Royce turned one last time. It's gone now. No. What? It'll never be gone. He frowned. Then what did we do this for? Savannah didn't blink. So it doesn't grow anymore. He nodded slowly. Good enough. They turned, walked back across the clearing, didn't look back. The sound of burning stayed behind them. No screams, no words, just crackle and pop and slow collapse. Halfway through the trees, Royce reached for her hand. She took it. Neither of them spoke. The woods didn't whisper. The wind didn't push. The trail opened up just enough to let them through. At the truck, Savannah opened the door. Royce climbed in, shut it gently. She slid behind the wheel, turned the key. The engine rumbled to life. They pulled out slowly. No rush. Royce looked ahead. You think Sheriff Gant'll come check it? He won't need to. Ma Ellen. She already knows. He nodded. I feel empty. That's the point. Does it go away? No. You grow around it. Royce leaned his head against the window. I wanted it to be louder. What? The end. She smiled faintly. This is loud for justice. He nodded. They drove in silence. The fire shrank in the mirror behind them. Just a glow now, faint, like memories. At the top of the hill, Royce spoke again. Have you ever gone back? No. You want to? No. He looked at her. Are you sure it's over? She didn't answer. I didn't need to. The cabin was gone. The well was buried in ash. And some men, if they're lucky, stay buried. The truck sat idle in the dirt drive. Engine off, windows down, night air pushed in slowly and coolly. Savannah stayed behind the wheel, elbows on her thighs, hands hanging loose. The house in front of her didn't look haunted anymore. It looked tired, still. Her boots were caked with soot. Her palms smelled like kerosene and smoke. She reached over and opened the glove box. The yellow paper was still there, folded 3 times, stuffed in the back behind an old registration and half a broken pencil. She pulled it out gently. The edges had curled from heat. It felt thinner than she remembered. She unfolded it. The drawing looked soft now, like someone had tried to erase it, but quit halfway. The lines of the cabin barely held. Roof sagged in faded graphite. The crooked ridge behind it was just a haze. Even the little black square where the window had been was almost gone. She traced it with her finger. No noise, no voice, no pull. Inside the house, the porch light clicked off. She looked toward Royce's window. Dark. He was asleep. First time in weeks. She stayed in the truck. I didn't want the night to end yet. I didn't want the day to carry into the morning. It needed to stay here, stretched out quiet and full. She folded the paper small, took her time. Once, twice, 3 times until it was tight in her palm. Then she stepped out, boots hitting gravel. The barn loomed across the field like a forgotten prayer. The burned barrel was next to the shed. She walked toward it. The ground was soft from last week's rain. Her footsteps didn't echo. At the barrel, she lifted the lid. Ash from the last fire still coated the rim. She held the paper over it for a second, thought about when Royce first handed it to her. Yellow paper, black pencil, that shape he shouldn't have known. She let it drop. It landed quiet. She reached in her coat pocket, pulled out the matchbook. Only one left. She struck it. The flame jumped up, small and mean. She leaned in, dropped it. The paper caught slow, curled like it wanted to hold on. Then it darkened. Lines vanished first, then the shape, then the yellow. Smoke lifted softly. She watched it turn to nothing. You stay dead now. Her voice didn't waver, didn't rise, just final. She lowered the lid. The breeze picked up just enough to clear the smoke. She looked up. The sky was heavy with stars. No ridge in sight, no cabin silhouette, just home. When she turned back to the house, her legs felt heavier, not from fear, from done. She walked slowly, up the porch. Through the door she didn't lock. Inside, the house was dark. She didn't turn on the light. She was moved by the feeling. In the kitchen, she poured water from the tap. It ran brown at first, then cleared. She drank it all in one go. Set the glass in the sink, stood there with her eyes closed. No sound, no whisper. No breath from under the floor. She moved to the hallway. Her hand brushed the wall as she passed Royce's room. She pushed the door open an inch. He was curled on his side, mouth open slightly, breathing slow and even. One hand clutched the edge of the blanket like it anchored him. She stepped in, bent down, and fixed the sheet around his shoulder. He didn't wake. She stayed there a second longer, hand hovering over his hair. Then she left. Back in the hallway, she stopped at the door to the closet. I opened it, pulled the box from Ma Ellen's house off the top shelf, carried it to the kitchen table. Sat. She opened the lid. Inside, the folded photo, the ribbon of blonde hair, the blood-stained badge. She took out the photo, stared at the 2 girls. One was smiling. The other had dirt on her face and eyes that looked too much like Royce's. She touched the corner. The paper was dry, no curse in it, just memory. She set it down, took out the ribbon, hold it in her palm. Soft still. She put it back. Then the badge. She wiped the dried blood off the front with her sleeve. No name on it, no town, just the star. She held it up to the moonlight through the window. It didn't gleam. She set it down, took the matchbook back out. Empty now. She stared at the box for a long time, then closed the lid. She carried it back down the hall, into the living room, opened the trap door beneath the rug, the one no one used since her father died. It led to the root cellar. She climbed down. It smelled like potatoes and damp wood. She set the box on the shelf next to a row of empty mason jars. I looked at it once more, then turned the light off. Climbed back up, closed the trap door. Rolled the rug back, sat on the couch. Still no noise. She tilted her head back, closed her eyes. The fire hadn't taken all of it, but it took enough. She reached behind her, pulled the quilt down from the back of the couch, wrapped it around her shoulders, leaned into the corner and listened to nothing. The house breathed softly. It felt right. Morning didn't rush to come. She let it wait. In the dark, she thought of John. Not as he was in the cabin, but as he first was, the boy in her dreams. The one she almost believed in, the one she thought she could save. She let that version go, too. She saw Ma Ellen's hands, weathered, still steady. She saw Gant on his porch, watching smoke rise in the distance, glass in hand, jaw clenched but proud. She saw the ridge finally empty. She saw Royce growing older, not haunted, just scared. But breathing. When the sun finally came through the cracks in the blinds, she didn't move. She didn't need to. Inside the house, something had shifted, and for the first time in a long time, it stayed still.